Okay, so hi, vlog number 2 here, and I just listened back to my first vlog from a few days back, and I almost thought I wasn't going to post that because it was just kind of I was a little bit of a downer because I just had a rough week, whatever, I mean, I talked about how my life has been has been pretty rough, has been like a total disconnect with people and all that, but I mean, most of the time I'm okay, I'm pretty good, and I'm pretty, I keep myself upbeat, I keep a positive outlook on life, but I was talking about, it was kind of funny how I was just talking about, I made some videos on my other channel talking about how life is like that, how, the hardships can hit you in life, and to take everything, to take failure and rejection and the most difficult experiences of life, take them and turn them into a positive, because each of those are an opportunity to grow. And I know it for myself. I'm kind of just speaking it out to myself, but after I put up those videos, it seemed like the universe, God, whatever, my life just really happened. It really put me to the test, the things that I was talking about. It seemed like it just got I don't know, had a rough week, more bad experiences with, disconnect with people and stuff. And I was just feeling down. I was feeling really down for, especially there was a couple days that I was really not feeling well, but I never got totally just despair, although there was a few actually it was really down for, let's just say that I had a few really down, but I don't know, I felt like I always bounce back from it, I quickly, a few days later, I'm feeling better, and getting my inspirations back and all that. So you just gotta keep rolling with the punches. And yeah, I feel like, even though I'm gonna be 50 in a few months, I feel like I haven't made yet the major breakthrough that I've been searching for all my life, just to get to that state of consciousness of just feeling full of energy and full of inspiration and enthusiasm, and just, excited about life, and feeling just joyful, and where nothing's gonna stop you. What's that jump song, Nothing Brings Me Down? I Get Up. I like that. Remember that 1984 Jump by Van Halen? It was a classic a line, and that song starts up with I get up and nothing gets me down. That's a great one. I gotta hand it to David Lee Roth for that one. But yeah, that's how you gotta be, man. You gotta get up. Nothing gets you down, man. And I had, some things got me down, but it's not just it's not just things like people, or it's just, I don't know if it's a physiological condition or just karma. It's just psychology or whatever. Maybe your subconscious. There's so many theories. Your subconscious is is running on a program of all kinds of things throughout your life. So all those memories and experiences, they're programmed deep into your subconscious, and that can be the underlying vibe in your consciousness. You might not even be aware of it. So yeah, I do have there's a lot of memories stored up in my consciousness of things that have happened through this life. And I believe that we're carrying memories from not only this life, but on a subtle level, we have stored up experiences and memories from many lifetimes. And that can it's possible it can be burdensome at some stage. So I got all these memories of things that have happened with people over throughout my life, things that have been just a disconnect with people, being dissed by people, being ghosted by people, just having broken relationships with friends or girlfriends or whatever, and end up 50 years old and not have any friends or any connections with anybody. I mean, you know, can you imagine not having somebody to call up on the phone just to speak to shoot the shit with, you know, just to let your mind, you know, let your thoughts out. So I don't have anyone like that. So, but I am actually, I live with who we were married. We were married, but we're not legally married. We live together, and we basically live together as friends. We don't have any, it's become like just a platonic relationship. And not only that, but we don't really, like a lot of the things that I just can't really connect with her on a level. I mean, she's the one person I do have in my life actually that's there that I, you know, I can't say I have absolutely nobody in my life, because I do have someone, and you know, I take care of her needs. She does the cooking, cleaning around the house. We get along well enough to live together. We don't have any kind of like any romance or anything like that's done. We're just friends at this stage, and we live together. And we married based on spiritual interests, based on, you know, both of our interests in the spiritual path. And that was originally my idea at the time. I had practiced living as celibate for some years, living in a temple and practicing spiritual lifestyle. So when I married at the time, I wasn't thinking like I necessarily wanted someone that I'm going to have like this romantic, steamy, sexual relationship with, because according to the teachings, the less, you know, sex that you have, the more spiritual growth progress you can make. So at the time, I was like, you know, I was all right with that, even though I was, what was I, when I married, 20, 30 something anyhow. Years later, so we lived to, I can say I have someone, but I can't really relate. She doesn't really relate to a lot of the things, and she's not so interested in much of what I'm interested in. You know, if I talk about my beliefs, spiritual philosophy of life, things that are important to me, she's not like, we don't even really connect that deeply, you know. So, and then she's just most of the time on the phone talking to all kinds of different people. She's just focused in her own relationships with so many people, you know, that she has on Facebook and this, that, and the other one. So, you know, but it's, on the one hand, I'm not totally alone, but on the other hand, I don't really have someone to intimately speak with, someone that I really connect on a deep level like that. So yeah, where was I that, you know, just a certain amount of disappointment with people in life. I wouldn't say lonely. I mean, I've spent a lot of time alone. There's been times I'm sure I felt lonely, but I wouldn't say it's been like a huge problem in my life. Like I'm always just depressed, feeling alone, because I've just learned to deal with it. I've learned to see it as possibly an advantage, maybe a good thing, possibly to spend more time on your own and have more time for spiritual. The idea is that you're supposed to be able to like spend more time to connect with God, to get your relationship with God when you don't have all these social distractions. So, but you know, at times it's lonely, and then it's like, even though I'm married years ago, because I thought maybe I didn't need so much of a sexual relationship, but years later, I have sexual desires, unsatisfied, and I got to try to do something with that. You know, it's like I'm a 50-50. It's like 50% of me has got like a strong spiritual desire and wants to have sex, wants to have an intimate partner to enjoy sex with, and then the other side of me is like, I could do without, because supposedly it's better for spiritual growth. At least part of me believes that. That's what I've been learned. That's what's been taught. That what makes a lot of sense. That's a whole nother subject, a whole nother big topic. But let's just say that part of me doesn't need sex. I'm like 50-50. Part of me like really, especially you try to practice no-fap. I usually get by for like a week or something. I need to get by for like a week or so, and then, you know, the desires start coming on strong. and I just have to go let it out. You know, you're just walking around thinking about sex all the time, and you just have to go to the bathroom and let it out. But that's not, to me, that is not like satisfying, you know, to do that all the time. It's not satisfying to not have, sometimes you just want to be with somebody, you want to engage in sex with somebody. But at least according to spiritual, much of what I've learned in spiritual teachings is that the more that you're attached to sex, the more you're engaged in sex, the more that you're setting yourself up for a next physical material body. You become attached to sense enjoyment, sexual gratification, and that's supposedly what keeps us coming back here. It's like the center of material existence, sex life. Everything is supposedly comes out of sex. You know, it starts with relationship and then marriage and children and everything. Like all material attachments and entanglements start from sex. Now, people try to avoid those entanglements by contraception or by being a bachelor or bachelorette and not getting married and stuff, but still there's supposed to be karmic attachments, you know, that like you have sex with somebody and you get like, you can tie in with their karma and stuff, even though you think that you're free, you're having a free one night stand. So that's a whole nother subject matter. I have to talk about that in another video. But on this one, talking about, I was talking about more like just depression, loneliness. I think loneliness and depression has been like a theme, but not like a huge, like over, like something that's destroyed me. It's like a challenge it's just a great challenge in my life. I see it as something that I have to like work through. I somehow believe that it's meant to teach me something. I have to, you know, go through this experience and learn from it. You know, I feel like somehow I'll come out, I'll evolve through it, and I'll learn and grow from this experience. From what I understand, we have to experience like both ends of the spectrum. You have to experience as eternal beings, as spiritual beings that live a multitude of lifetimes in this material existence, and that we have an eternal existence in the spiritual realm. You know, one lifetime of hardship, or even many lifetimes of hardship, in the big picture of things, of our eternal existence, is just a fragment of the whole picture show. So we're just actors on the stage, and we play many roles in many different parts. You know, sometimes we play the suffering, and sometimes we're enjoying. So supposedly by experiencing the whole gamut of experiences, we get, we develop our God consciousness, where we get to have a wide gamut of vision from all different perspectives. God is unlimited perspectives, so we're expanding our experiences and our perspective, and we develop the godly qualities of compassion and understanding and wisdom and insight and intuition and so on by going through all these experiences, the good and the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I have, the struggle of this life for me has been just being alone all the time, most of the time. Well, not completely alone all the time. Like I said, I'm living with somebody for 12 years. We've been together, so I've been with someone pretty much every day. So I couldn't say I have extreme loneliness or just being by myself all the time. But I wouldn't have a problem. I don't think I could live by myself, and I could get by. I think I've learned to deal with it. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you like to have people to get together with. Sometimes it'd be nice to have some like-minded friends that you share much in common with, you could laugh with and do things together with, and just have a blast. Everybody likes to have all that, and then have someone to enjoy intimacy with, sex, and the pleasures of life all those things. But I know that all this stuff is just temporary anyhow. So part of me is like, I have the spiritual knowledge, at least I have the belief that helps me cope to get through life and still keeps me inspired on the path. Because that's been my biggest struggle, you know, is just disconnect with people. Just like, has so many bad experiences with people, and being disconnected and not having anybody, any friend, to, you know, be able to call up on the phone or get together with or anything like that. And then having this sexual frustration, and then having this sort of like depression, which is not really seem to be necessarily just based on my circumstances. I can have like, my circumstances can be pretty good. I live in a nice area. I like the place where I live, in a nice house. I like what I do for a living. I get by. I don't make a lot of money, but I don't work for someone else. You know, I work independently. I make my own schedule. I do what I want and stuff. So I have some certain amount of freedom. So in a lot of ways, I have much to be thankful for. My life is pretty good. But there's this still this sort of like depression thing that's been going on since I was like 13, 14 years old. And just feeling like, I guess it's just from feeling disconnected from people and feeling, you know, carrying the baggage of past life, whatever, karma and memories and stuff like that. A lot of times I remember dreams at night. I still, like, even in the dreams, I feel like I'm in this just disconnect. I have weird dreams of being disconnected with people. And then throughout the day, and sometimes it often feels like, well, not often, but like when I was feeling really down the other day, I was feeling like just a bad dream that I can't get out of. So, yeah, those are my three greatest challenges. I would say is this dysthymia is like just a persistent state of mild depression that never seems to go away. It's, for the most part, it's not major depression where you just feel like ending your life all the time or something like that. I haven't really had it like that, but just disconnect with people, mild persistent depression, and unsatisfied sexual desire. I would say those have been my greatest challenges of life. But because I believe that because I've been on a spiritual search, this situation in my life has sort of like, has pushed me towards, you know, spiritual searching for, you know, true meaning and something that's everlasting happiness, ultimately for reconnecting with God. And my belief, what has led me to the beliefs, mostly it's from like readings and research and my own experiences, primarily the teachings of, first it was Edgar Cayce, the great psychic Edgar Cayce, his books that I read about expanding consciousness and the Akashic records, past lifetimes. He was going out of his body and going into the Akashic records and was able to access all this information about people's lifetimes and about mankind and God, our connection. He even talked about how we came here. So Edgar Cayce is acknowledged as the greatest psychic of all time. And then there is the teachings of, well, then from there I went to, I was reading the books of Handbook of Higher Consciousness by Ken Keyes. This guy, he passed away many years ago, but his books are really good. It's like really good, like pretty much psychology, spirituality, self-help type of books have given me like pretty good outlook on how to see everything in a positive way, how to accept everything that happens to you as a beneficial teaching, you know, whether it's good or bad. You know, that has helped me a lot. And from there I went to Self-Realization Fellowship when I was living in San Diego, and Paramahamsa Yogananda, Autobiography of a Yogi. I read a bunch of his books, and I was going there and meditating and all that kind of stuff. And that gave a next level of the teachings that I've learned things. And then I discovered Krishna consciousness, the teachings of Swami Prabhupada, the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and the Bhagavatam, teaching about Krishna as a personal aspect of God, the personal form of God, and the personal relationship that we have. There's a lot of information there that gives you a whole explanation of everything that's going on. Most people don't even know about it because I think most people are not actually really that interested to know about God and the relationship. They're satisfied with either no God or just you are God, or fast food religion. Fast food religion, that's easy and cheap. You just live once and do whatever you like, pretty much. As long as you go to church on Sundays, you don't kill anybody, then you're guaranteed to go to heaven and live happily ever after. That seems to be these are the things that most people will subscribe to. So yeah, I feel fortunate actually that my experience has propelled me towards this search, this spiritual journey. Because if I didn't have, if everything went from a mature perspective, if everything went so easily and nicely, if in high school I was popular and had plenty of friends and girlfriends, and everything was wonderful, and then through college, and got lots of sex and everything. I had my share. I think I've been with I had sex with maybe about 8 or 9 women in my life, and then there was a whole bunch of other girls that I hooked up with, and either had some kisses or feel each other up and stuff like that. I mean, up until I was maybe a lot of the action I got up until I was 15. But anyhow, I had some experiences, but anyhow, the desires have not completely gone away, for sure. So anyhow, but I feel fortunate that the experience that I have in life, even though I had these challenges. And my first video was it was one of my lowest points in a while, because I was to be honest, I hit such a low point. I was I was feeling so frustrated with stuff at the moment, and I just I said to myself, I yelled it out, I said, I don't even feel like existing. I mean, looking back on it right now, I think I just had to vent. I was just venting out, really. It was just it seemed to add up, because over the years, I've had a lot of people come and go, and a lot of people have at some point have ended up just giving me the cold shoulder, giving me the just ghosting you. You know that when you think you're getting along with somebody, you're connecting with somebody, and then all of a sudden they just totally disappear, they stop communicating. This has happened quite a few times. I've never done that to somebody, and when it's happened to me, I'm a bunch of times I have no idea what turned that person off. All of a sudden they just suddenly just disappeared. It wasn't like we had a big blowout or something like that. It's just you're having a conversation with somebody one day, everything seems to be fine, and then all of a sudden you never hear from them again. They never respond to you. You write to them, you call them, they just ghost you, So it's always been very strange like that. What has left me so after this happened recently again, somebody that I seem to be connecting with, for a while, for the last year or two, and then all of a sudden this person just did that same ghost thing. So, but it wasn't only that, but there was I seem to be a number of things that happened all together at once, in the last week, and everything just I thought I was doing well for a while, and then everything all of a sudden I just felt so down. I had a few days of feeling really down, and I just had to vent out. I think I just let out some frustration. I said, I don't feel like existing anymore. But then as soon as I said it, I was okay, I feel a little better now. I don't really mean that. I was just letting it out. I think sometimes you have to do that. You have to just punch a wall. I did that one time. I got really angry and I punched a wall, and I broke my hand. I broke my knuckles. It was all kind of cracked and warped. My hand was like, for like a month, I couldn't barely move my fingers. It was all stiff. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to play guitar again. It was kind of, but anyhow, that was kind of out of control. I don't think that's recommended, but I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta let it out, man. Punch a punching bag or something. Punch a pillow, and just let it out, man. Sometimes you just gotta vent out a little bit. It shouldn't be like all the time. Like you're getting angry and frustrated and being like just angry all the time. It shouldn't be anything like that, but that's a rare occasion to me. I think I've had, I wouldn't call it a mental breakdown, but I've had maybe about a half a dozen or something times in my life. I think there was times when I just felt so down and so frustrated that I had to like just go be totally by myself and just go into a room with someone, just yell out and scream and just hit something and just feel like, just let it all out and just feel down. And you just feel like you're at your wit's end and you feel like you hit rock bottom. But it's said, like, you know, sometimes you gotta hit rock bottom before you can, before you can progress to the next level, it seems. Sometimes going through that difficulty, just, you know, like it said, like the lower you go, then you have more momentum. Like it's like a roller coaster. That roller coaster, the further it goes down, it develops some momentum to go even further when it goes back up the other way. So all the teachings, things I've studied over the years, these spiritual teachings, I told you the ones that was primarily based on, but I've studied a lot of different beliefs, most of it very similar, all connected, about, you know, afterlife, spirituality, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences I've experienced. I was delving into that for a while. I kind of like haven't really practiced it, but I was practicing some of the techniques and having out-of-body experiences pretty regular, lucid dreams and all that stuff. It's very interesting, but it's quite a discipline. It takes a lot of focus, and sometimes I ended up oversleeping doing that stuff, and I didn't want to be sleeping too much. So, but all kinds of different stuff I've studied. All kinds of different stuff I've studied. You know, the New Age stuff and occult, some, not heavily, but some of the occult teachings, the what they call the Golden Dawn and stuff like that, mystical stuff and stuff that has to do with spirits and angels. And I just, you know, I've tried to like gather all this understanding, and I feel like I've gotten a pretty well rounded foundation that gives me a pretty inspirational, a wide vision, a grand vision. That gives me a grand vision. I don't know, from my perspective, it seems like most people do not really delve into it. There are people, of course, there's people that are, you know, that go into these things, but I think that in general, the mass population, people are not really that interested to really go into it too much, to try to really understand much about. Most people just assume that you're going to find out when you die, or, you know, you're just going to die and it's all over, and there's no point in trying to understand it really, because it's all a mystery and nobody really knows. So most people are more focused on the obvious things about the day-to-day gratification of your desires, and, you know, and management of our material existence, you know, making money and, you know, trying to have a good time and enjoy life and stuff. So, but according to what I understand on the spiritual, like if you really want to go to the spiritual dimensions, if you want to like go to heaven, or it's not, we're just talking about heaven, we're talking about beyond heaven. Heaven is really just supposed to be like a temporary vacation place that's in the material world, and it's not just one place. There's many different many dimensions, like unlimited types of heavens and hells and all kinds of different dimensions and different planets and different universes and all kinds of unlimited, unimaginable different states of consciousness and experiences that exist out there. So the idea is that if we really want to get to the kingdom of God, which is like the ultimate destination, where we're free from all these problems of life, then we really have to want it, really want it more than anything. And to get to that stage, supposedly you have to go through many experiences. You have to go through many hardships and difficulties. On some paths, even talking about going through like these severe tests where one has to, like on different dimensions, they have to pass through fire, they have to pass through this like extreme experiences in order to make it to the different levels and finally enter into the kingdom of God. So it's supposed to be like no easy task. It's no joke. It's no cakewalk at all. And it's like supposedly like if you don't even start to like, if you're not even that interested in the path, then you just don't go there. You don't make it there. You just stay on in the material levels. And it's just like if you go to school, if you want to graduate to the next level, you got to study the courses. You have to have some interest in it. If you're in a school and you're not interested in the courses, you're not interested in studying, you're not interested in passing the tests, taking the exams, you're not interested in the subject matters, then obviously you're not going to graduate to the next level. So it's supposed to be like that also in this material. We're in the school of learning here. Sometimes it's called the school of hard knocks, right? So we're supposed to be in the school of learning. But if we're not really like interested in the higher lessons, like trying to understand what's the purpose of life, why are we here, why is there suffering, is there afterlife, is there God, what happens, all the answers are supposed to be actually there, and they're gradually revealed to us according to our level of interest and sincerity and then surrender and how we apply it to ourselves in our life. But for most people, it's just not. Most people, this planet is just like one speck in the universe, and there's supposed to be unlimited universes. And so we just usually people often go with the flow with the ways of the world, thinking that that's how it is in the majority. But this world is not the majority. This world is just a speck in all the existence of God's kingdom. So just by following the ways of the world, thinking that that's gonna take us there, supposedly that doesn't get us there. So when you go through these difficulties, they can give you the impetus to try to inquire. It is said in the Vedas, human life is meant for inquiring about what is God consciousness, what is self-realization, what is the problems of life, what is God, what is the soul, why are we here, why is there suffering, trying to understand what are the problems of life. They say those who don't try to use their intelligence to try to understand the answers to the problems of life, they're not really any different than the animals, because the animals, they don't have that level of consciousness to ask these types of questions, to inquire about what is, why is there suffering and stuff like that. They don't think on that level. They're just really just interested with eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Those are supposed to be the four primary material activities of life. To maintain a material existence, this one is just concerned with eating, sleeping, sex and procreating, and defense. Having some shelter, having some food, having a cozy setup, having a rosy, cozy situation in the world. That's supposed to be not any different than the animals. The animals are all doing the same exact thing. Human beings may be doing it in a more polished way. We may live in a fancy house and have a nice car and all that kind of stuff, but we're not doing anything different than the animals if we're not using our intelligence to inquire into spiritual life. So when you go through these sufferings and hardship, it's actually fortunate if it brings you to that stage of consciousness where you start to inquire and you start to look for the answers, and you start to and you go beyond just fast food religion. Fast food religion isn't supposed to really get you very far. It's just another social event, just a social gathering of the material world. So yeah, so I started this vlog so I could talk about things that on my other channel, because I got a channel that a lot that some people you don't want everybody like to talk about everything, your parents and family or people. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even bother, who cares what. But and then I had like a lot of videos. I had people were most of the subscribers I got on my other channel were really just for the Florida videos that I was doing. Started doing like tour videos of Florida, and that was getting all the subscribers. So I thought maybe I would just like, if I start pumping out all these vlogs, it might kind of like throw off. I figured I would just like laser focus a channel for my vlogs where I could speak about absolutely anything, no holds barred, speak about the most, you know, intimate, personal things on my mind, and just let it flow like that. In the other channel, I also speak about philosophy of life and things like that, but I might not go as deep into the intimacy details, you know, about my personal like sexual experience and my personal sex life, or just, I don't know, whatever. I just, you know, so I started this vlog, and it's for, you know, for spiritual journey. I want to see it through to become, you know, like a record of spiritual growth, spiritual awakening. And my vision is to be like, you know, I look back and see where I started, and some years later see the progress, you know, see where you've come to grow and to expand your consciousness. And I hope to, in this lifetime, would be wonderful to, my vision is to achieve that level of consciousness, to be like just fully like, you know, in just the joyful state of mind, and not really bothered by so many things of life, you know, just, you can just like, just be not undisturbed. That's the goal. One of the main goals of spirituality is not just to go back to heaven, but to, in this lifetime, to achieve that consciousness of being like, it's called Shanti, means peace, undisturbed, no matter what happens, even if people ghost you, things don't go your way, you lose money, everything is taken away, all your material, whatever, you could still be like, just totally like, just like, okay, just feeling fine, you know, just because you got everything, you got this state of consciousness within you that it can never be taken away, never can be shaken. As a part of the anxiety of life is that, you know, like the worry that, you know, that your happiness can be taken away if you don't have enough money, or you don't have your health, or you don't have nice relationships. We're always trying to like to protect these things, and we're always working all the time to try to maintain these things, and it's a lot of work, and it can be a lot of stress, and it's supposed to be hankering and lamenting. It's supposed to be the material condition of life, hankering for something, for all these things that we want, or lamenting for the things that we've lost, you know, things that we regret, things that have come and gone, like lost relationships, broken relationships, you know, or some lover. There's someone who's hankering for someone that they used to be with, and now the relationship is broken, and they're hankering for the loss of that relationship. Or we're in anxiety, we're stressing about maintaining what we have, those relationships. Sometimes they have a girlfriend or something, but they're in anxiety that the girl is going to cheat on them, and that she's interested in other guys, and he's got to work very hard to try to maintain this, you know, his control over the situation. So hankering, lamenting, and being in anxiety for maintaining these things, fear of losing what they think they have. Yeah, so, oh man, I guess I just wrap it up with that. I guess I feel pretty good about it now. I feel pretty good. Like I say, my first video was from like around a time when I was at like the lowest I've been in a while, maybe for some years. I just had a low point. I got kind of knocked down a little bit, and but I feel like this helps a lot to, even though I don't have anybody to talk about it. Like I said, I live with someone that we were married, and now we're just basically just friends, and I don't really have that level of intimate conversation with her. She just doesn't get it, man. A lot of times I speak to her stuff and she's not even listening. She's just focused on her phone and all the connections she has with all these people. So I'm on my own here as far as talking and letting your thoughts out. But I feel like I'm just talking to God, talking to YouTube, whatever. Maybe nobody's listening, I don't know, but it helps. It definitely helps a lot to kind of put your thoughts together and just put it out, let it out, express yourself. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm gonna keep this going, and I'm gonna make some progress here and make some improvements, man. So we got to keep going forward. So thanks. If you've listened, thank you. Really appreciate your tuning in. Thumbs up would be appreciated, and have a good one. We'll check in. We'll hopefully catch you on the next vlog number 3. This is vlog number 2. So thank you, and have a nice spiritual journey.